Hi, boys and girls. Yeah, Jordan's still not with me at the moment. I don't know what's happening. He just went offline. I was on Skype for a bit, waiting for him to pick up. But no. Uh, he never called me, and I never got a chance to call him because he just went off. Anyway, because he's went off, I decided to use this to my advantage. And I have just played through Little Inferno from the beginning to the end, and I thought I might review it since I've got nothing else to do. This game is probably one of the few games that was actually based around sort of like a wintry background, sort of it has sort of like a Christmassy feel to it, because everyone now around Christmas is trying to keep warm, trying to keep out the cold. And this game does exactly that. What you have to do in the game is you have to burn whatever you can buy, whatever you receive, to keep you warm. Now, the main idea in the game is that you'll start off with nothing whatsoever apart from a few humorous things like the terms and conditions which you can burn up, which is quite it does a good job at making you laugh, put it that way. And then once you burn them up, you'll meet your first character in the game called called, I can't actually remember what her name was, but she's the head of a corporation called Tomorrow Corporation, and that is sort of like the main corporation in the game. They do. Oh, it's Miss Nancy. That's it. Anyway, Miss Nancy leads a corporation called Tomorrow Corporation, and they basically a toy making company. And because it's so cold outside, one of the toys which they made was Little Inferno. Now, and along with that, the first letter from Miss Nancy, you'll get your first catalogue. The main idea of the game is to collect all the catalogues and complete as many combos and as many and burn as many things as you possibly can. And the main idea is just to burn everything in the catalogues. Now, it does a good job at the end of the game, because even though I'm not going to tell you the ending, but even though it ends with something happening, you can still continue the game after the game ends as if nothing happens, like a Grand Theft Auto game, something like that. As soon as you play through the entire campaign, you can just go back to it with all your stuff, which is quite a nice feature. It's nice to do something like that, because surprisingly, I managed to I managed to pump through the game today for 4 hours straight, and I managed to complete everything in the game, which I liked a lot. I did all the combos, I did everything, and they even saved a hug coupon which you get from Miss Nancy at one point, which opens up a very interesting dialogue at the end. Now, one of the interesting things about this game is that near enough towards the end, it surprises you. It takes a twist on the game, which is what I like about games. No, like that. They start off one way, and that's like the main part of the game, and it gets you thinking, right, so I'm going to have to do this throughout the entire game. And then right at the end, it sort of like twists the game into making you play in a different style, which is kind of good. Think of like a Tetris game. At the start, you know, doing all these puzzle things and all that. And after you think, right, I've got to the end of Tetris, now I just need to watch the ending, or now I just need to go through the credits. And then, bam smack, you have sort of like an RPG game just come in front of you, and it's still the same story continued, but in a different game style, which is what this game does. Which is, I like it a lot. However, some people can find this quite annoying and quite good at the same time. No one will suspect it when you're playing it. So I'm actually going to have to tell you this to tell you anything about the game itself. But I'll go through everything later on. I'll probably just like go beep or something like that when I'm about to talk about anything like that. But anyway, as I said, the main idea is to burn everything in these catalogs. To get through these catalogs, you have to burn the previous catalog, and then to move on to the next catalog, it'll say what you have to do. It'll say, first of all, you need to unlock every single item in the catalog. Then you must complete so many combos. Now, because this game was so addictive, it's like, it's really not what you expect for a game. It's just, instead of like a hidden object game, something like that, it takes something like that, something which you play just to relax or something like that, and blends it in with this really good idea that people, you know, they give people what they like. Unlike a hidden object game where you have the same thing going all the way throughout the game. I'm flicking my fingers and doing all this hands at the moment. Anyway, in a hidden object game, when you're searching for all the items and you get them all, you're sort of like, right, I'm gonna have to do this again and again and again. Well, for all hidden object games, nothing changes whatsoever. However, in Little Inferno, it has a nice twist on it. What the twist is because you can burn things, everything will have a different reaction with the fire. Like, there could be a bomb, you light it on fire and it'll explode. You might have like 2 bombs next to each other, explode one, and then that set off a chain reaction and then explode the next. Depending on like all these different combinations, it's just really fun and addictive just to play the game over and over again. It's nice that they added the feature at the end that you can continue playing the game, and if you want to get back into the other game style, all you have to do is put in the final combination. I'm not going to talk about the final game style just yet, because that game style, it fits in nicely with all the stuff that's going on. Now, the plot behind Little Inferno is that you're this boy that I do say boy because you're never your own specific character in this, which is one of the twists which no one realizes. You're actually a small boy that's just he's basically got one of these little infernos because the entire city is covered in snow, and that's really good in like, it's really good in sort of like a twist way. You don't expect it, because throughout the entire game you think, right, it's gonna be like every other game so far played with puzzles. There is no main character. I'm the main character. I'm the person that's playing this. So you get like this idea that you know, it's sort of like, it's interesting what's happening. The main idea behind the game is that because all the snow happening and because the Tomorrow Corporation bought these little infernos, they have no idea what's going on around them. Nothing whatsoever. there could be like a massive tsunami going on or something like that, and they wouldn't know it. Throughout the entire game, it proves this by setting a twist at one point. Hang on, I'm just messaging Jordan. He just came out saying, "Hello, how are you?" So yeah, oh sorry. Oh yeah, because of this like twist, the game's full of twists. However, they blend in nicely. What was I talking about? Right, yeah. Because of Little Inferno, and all these children are buying it, trying to keep warm. Because it's so cold outside, they'll literally burn anything. Even in the game, it proves that. You'll meet a girl who becomes your girlfriend at a later moment, and her name is how am I forgetting this? She appears everywhere. Hang on. Sorry about this, guys. I've actually completely forgot her name, and she has quite a cool twist on her as well. But see if I can actually find her name. Anyway, there's this girl in it, which she at start she just appears like any normal character whatsoever. She starts being nice to you, and straight away you think, oh, I'm going to be nice to her, and then all these sort of stuff start blending in. All this sort of stuff starts turning around, and all these twists, and eventually what'll happen is that she'll keep giving you gifts, and you'll have to give gifts to her. 4 gifts in the entire game, and it tests your memory as well. It's sort of like a memory game / with a puzzle game. So it's just all these things combined, and it does it so well. Like, it's really good. I'm gonna do a full playthrough of it on my YouTube channel. I'm not stopping the review here. God no, there's much more to talk about. Anyway, this Sugar Pumps. That's it. Yeah. The girl's name is Sugar Pumps. Basically, what happens with her is that she starts doing all this stuff, and because she's one of the people that actually gets the Little Inferno, because your character can't talk whatsoever, Sugar Plum sort of does it for you. She starts saying stuff which you realise makes sense, like as in she may not say it specifically, however you'll understand what it means if you know what I mean. What she's saying is at one point she's appeared all nicely and all that, and then what happens is she starts her senses start coming back to her after all these many years of sitting in front of Little Inferno, and then she tries to trick you with a message saying, "Look behind you, look," and the character just can't do it because it's fixed on Little Inferno. And at first you have no idea what's going on. She just sends you this random message, and you start getting confused. All this stuff starts happening, and then she'll send another message saying, "Oh, I just can't do it. I just can't look around." Now this is because they've been staring into a fire all this time, so occupied with what they're doing. Now eventually it's like just becomes so addicted for them. They can't turn away from Little Inferno. It's right there in front of them, and they just can't do anything about it because it's so addictive. It's like staring at a torch forever. Maybe not a bright torch, but if so like a dim torch which you can actually look into. You'll look at it, but if you look at it for like an hour or so, your senses, your nerves just stop, and then when you realise what's going on, you try to move. However, everything will feel stiff. That's basically how it's blended in there with the thick screen on Little Inferno, which I like how they blended that in. I'm going to talk about some spoilers here, so if you don't want me to ruin the plot for you, I'm going to say beep now. Beep! Anyway, this is the spoiler section of the review. The previous one was spoiler free. Because I can't really talk about anything else without it being a spoiler. What happens is more and more you and Sugar Plum start realizing what's going on, the more and more weird things start happening, and eventually Sugar Plum's sets a house on fire. Nobody knows how, and then all you see is because she's your neighbour, all you see is like a bunch of fire spreading inside Little Inferno. Your Little Inferno, because it's that powerful. The fire was that strong, and because of this, you don't see her for a while. It's just Miss Nancy talking to you for a bit, saying, "Oh, get through my catalogue. Hello, how are you? Yada yada yada." And eventually you start hearing from this mysterious person, and then she starts hinting at who she is, and then this is around about just after the second to last catalogue. As soon as you're near enough finished it, she will begin to talk to you. Now, what you have to do then is you have to actually complete the catalogue to hear from her again. And then once you start hearing from her, you begin to realise who she is, and then she won't talk for a while. Everything will just go silent for a bit, and you're thinking, well, hang on, does the game just end here? There's nothing else to do apart from buy a miniature sun. Once you do that, there are 4 items which you give her in the game. She asks you to burn them. Because once you burn them, your house will, the Little Inferno will basically just break. And main idea is to rip Little Inferno apart. Now this isn't what I mean by the big twist yet. This is still a twist ending. I mean, you don't expect it, you just expect, well, like any other game like this, you'll just expect, oh, the plot and the story is going to go on behind the actual game itself. This one does a good way of bringing another game mode in, which is where this is going to take place. Little Inferno breaks down, and then it brings you into a nice RPG world. Now, no one expects this. It's a side-scrolling RPG, which means you can interact with characters and all that. It's only for like an extra 5 minutes of gameplay. However, that gameplay, it's not really an extra 5 minutes. If you're just trying to get to the ending, it's an extra 5 minutes. However, you can spend up to half an hour in this, which is amazing. Because of all these little sort of like things which you have to pick up on. Like, you may see a toy, you may see a character of a toy which you've burnt in Little Inferno. You can talk to that person, and then they'll begin to reveal why that toy was made or who they actually are. One of the first characters you get to meet in it is a mailman. Now, at first, the character, the boy, tries to get the mailman to listen to him. However, he just won't. So, the mailman will eventually listen, and then you got this RPG style dialogue going on, where you can select like up to 3 choices, and they will all have like an impact on the ending, which A lot of people will say that's a bad thing because they just brought it out like no one expects it. However, it was a nice. I think it was quite nice how they did that. And anyway, the mailman will begin to explain what's going on. Like, he's the person that's been leaving you all these messages, all these catalogs. Everything you've received has been from him. He's just placed it by your side because you're in a trance looking at Little Inferno. So what eventually happens is you'll begin to walk for a bit. Nothing's going on much. And then you'll begin to get to a street corner where you'll see sort of like this choir where you can't talk to them. However, there is a room behind them which you can go in, and then all this stuff starts happening. But that's like only if you spot it, which is another interesting thing. They give you all these hidden things in the game. It's in the RPG style element of it, and they bring in the characters from the toys really nicely in it as well, such as in Little Inferno there's a bus driver which you get to burn up. All you get to see is like these weird bony hands coming out of it. You get to see the same bony hands for the person that activates the Tomorrow Corporation bridge, which is that's a really nice way of twisting it in. And then eventually you'll go inside Tomorrow Corporation, which is probably where most of the RPG element takes place. There's no like extra features in here, no bonus rooms or anything like that. It's literally just a straightforward walk past the woman, the receptionist, up the elevator, and then you'll begin to walk towards this massive room. Before you get there, you can look on the walls and you'll start seeing designs of these toys, which is quite a nice feature to it as well, because it shows you how these toys were made, why they were made, and all that sort of stuff. And then eventually you'll get into this massive room where you meet Miss Nancy herself, and she'll begin to explain that the boys shouldn't leave because eventually the city is slowly stopping. That's why the snow's there, because for some reason the entire city just decided to slow down during winter. It's endless snow for years, and only Miss Nancy knows that, because apart from a few other characters, Miss Nancy's one of the people that's actually not in the trance by Little Inferno, because she's the person that made it able to keep people warm. She made people in this trance so that way they don't have to explore the outside world, so that way they can keep warm. So that way, eventually, if the city does come to a stop, they don't realise it won't be that bad. So then Miss Nancy explains that she needs to leave herself because of her old age and all that sort of stuff. There is one interesting dialogue. If you manage to actually keep her hug token, which hug coupon, which actually gives you at one point, it's really hard to do. But if you get like save up a lot of money straight away and max out your inventory bar, then it's quite a simple thing to do. And then all that's added is an extra 5 seconds of dialogue. After that, she will go off in this massive rocket ship, which is another good thing about the game. And then after that happens, there's only one place to go, and that's to the right, which of Tomorrow Corporation, which haven't been yet. You go that way, and then the final cutscene commences, where you see the weatherman that's been sending you all these information and all that sort of stuff. So what happened is you'll go with the weatherman, and he will take you It's quite a good ending. I think it'll be a good way of introducing Little Inferno 2, whether the RPG element will start off first. I reckon that if they are going to make a Little Inferno 2, they have to mix it up a bit more. They can't just go into the RPG element at the end, because now we know what to expect. You want to you want to mix it up a bit. You can't just, if they do make a Little Inferno 2, it will be a bad idea to just get rid of one game mode and stick with one. But we all know that it's going to have to start with the RPG element, and it's going to have elements of Little Inferno. Now, I've had an idea for this, which is actually kind of, I think it's a good idea anyway. If the game started off in an RPG element, and then you could go to Little Inferno every now and again to complete certain objectives, sort of. Not like a proper RPG, but I mean, if you want, you could play the whole game from Little Inferno. You don't have to do the RPG element whatsoever. However, it'd be a good idea just to mix it up a bit for those players that like one or the other, or the players that like them both. However, of course, that's going to mean that it's going to take a lot of Little Inferno away, which is the downside. However, because they've introduced an RPG element, and the game ends on a cliffhanger where basically what happens is we don't get to find out what happens to the boy. All we know is that the weatherman drops him off somewhere unknown. And apart from that, we don't know if he's safe, we don't know where he is. So it's going to have to start off in an RPG element. Because apparently he's going to where Sugar Plums is. And she said that that's on the beach. So it's warm there. Which means it's an element where over time the snow starts to spread. That might be a good element to the game. So, yeah, if they are going to do an RPG element, they're going to have to do it at the beginning. They're going to have to do sort of like intervals, sort of like acts. They can't just like do this now and leave it, because if they just put Little Inferno from start to finish, it's going to be kind of hard to, after playing the end of the game so epic as that, just to think, well, hang on, if this is all going to be just from Little Inferno, then what about this twist which you introduced last time? You're not going to include it this time. So, food for thought. So, see you guys. Hope you enjoyed that little review of the game I did there. I thought it's an amazing game overall. Really worth a play. It's worth getting. I believe you can get on Steam, GOG, whatever things you go on these days. I don't know. But anyway, I am Extreme Prey. I've been doing a review on the Crimson and Pals channel for the Advent Calendar. Goodbye, and have a Merry Christmas. Ding!